15 million people across the world who marched against the war in Iraq. It was perhaps the biggest display of public morality in the world. I mean, before the war happened, everybody knew that they were being fed lies. I remember saying, it's just the quality of the lies that is so insulting, because we are being used to being lied to. And yet today you hear Dick Cheney saying he would do it all over again in a second. So unfortunately, we are dealing with psychosis. We are dealing with a psychopathic situation. So just in this last decade, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, all these countries have been shattered. It is psychopathic. At the heart of this operation is an immorality and a violence and a as I keep using this word, psychopathic violence, which even the people in the United States are now suffering for. There is a connection, after all, between all these wars and people being thrown out of their homes in this country. We are really being made fools of. This is what is so insulting. We are being, given lessons in morality while tens of thousands are being killed, while whole countries are shattered, while whole civilizations are driven back, decades, if not centuries, and everything continues as normal. And you have people like criminals, really, like Cheney, saying, "I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I won't think about it. I'll do it again." And so that's the situation we are in now.
Arundhati, a decade after the invasion of Iraq, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair stood by his decision to go to war, saying it saved Iraq from a fate worse than Syria's at the moment.
I think if we'd backed off and we'd left him in power, you just imagine with what is happening in Syria now, if you'd left Saddam in charge of Iraq, you'd have had carnage on an even worse scale in Syria and with no end in sight. So, this was the most difficult decision I ever took and the most balanced decision. But personally, I still believe we were better to remove him than leave him.
That was British Prime Minister Tony Blair, former Prime Minister. Arundhati Roy, your response?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they need to be put into a padded cell and given some real news to read, I mean, how can you say this? After creating a situation in Iraq where, every day people are being blown up, there are, mosques are being attacked, thousands are being killed, people have been made to hate each other. And this man is saying, "Oh, we did such a wonderful thing, we saved these people." Now, isn't that isn't it insane? I mean, I don't know how to respond to something like that, because it's like somebody looking at somebody being slaughtered and saying, "Oh, he must be enjoying it, we're really helping him," So how do you argue rationally against these people? We just have to think about what we need to do, but we can't have a conversation with them in this at this point.
Do you see President Obama going in a different direction?
Of course not. I don't see him going in a different direction at all. I mean, the real question to ask is, when was the last time the United States won a war? It lost in Vietnam, it's lost in Afghanistan, it's lost in Iraq, and it will not be able to contain the situation. It is hemorrhaging. It is now, of course you can continue with drone attacks and you can continue these targeted killings, but on the ground, a situation is being created which no army, not America, not anybody can control. And it's just, a combination of such foolishness, such a lack of understanding of culture in the world. And Obama just goes on, coming out with these smooth, mercurial sentences that are completely meaningless. I remember when he was sworn in for the second time, and he came on stage with his daughters and his wife, and it was all really nice, and he said, should my daughters have another dog or should they not? And a man who had lost his entire family in the drone attacks just a couple of weeks ago said, what am I supposed to think? what am I supposed to think of this exhibition of love and family values and good fatherhood and good husbandhood? I mean, we're not morons, you know. It's about time that we stopped acting so reasonable. I just don't feel reasonable about this anymore.